Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avataravarishthaya Ramakrishna te Namah Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityorma mritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to the Almighty to lead us from unreal to real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Today's topic I have chosen from the Gospel. Focus on the basics of life. Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Sharda Devi and Swami Vivekananda have shown through their life and work how to focus on the basics of life. God has given the opportunity since we are born as human beings to conduct ourselves properly in the life, and through this human life work out to reach the abode of truth. So life is given for that purpose. How you focus your life, in what way your life is directing towards. Are you going towards the opposite direction? That means you are going away from God. If that is so, really you are going in opposite direction. So the first basic of life is that you must be anchored to God. Anchoring. That's very important. And God is not very strange and mysterious. Never think like that. God is our very, very own. He is in us, dwelling in our hearts. So He is nearer than the nearest. Only because we are in deep ignorance, we feel as if God is far away, farther than the farthest. So, to realize God, to realize the divinity, to get rid of bondage, To be free from cycle of birth and death, one has to focus on the basics of life so that the life is going in a proper way. Every action of the spiritual masters are uplifting. They teach us a way how to go in our life. So our eyes should be directed in that direction. Our mind should be thinking whether I am following the right path or not. So thoughts, emotions, actions, everything must be directed towards the realization of the truth. Once a novitiate, after completing his prayers and meditation, he was climbing down the stairs of the temple, unmindful of the clattering sound produced by his slippers. Charra, 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 that sound. Just then, his teacher, who was proceeding to the shrine, on hearing the disturbing sound during the silent and prayerful hour, he mildly chided him and asked him to be careful in future while walking, so as not to disturb others in meditation. That concern you must have. This is the basic of our life. Are you concerned? So, a similar incident had occurred at Udbodhan, where Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi was staying. Once Radhu came down from the top floor with anklets jingling. Holy Mother heard the sound. And when Radhu came nearer, Mother scolded her and asked her to remove the anklets. Mother said, it is because Swami Chidananda and other monastic members living downstairs would be disturbed. Our mother was concerned. Are we concerned? That's the first focus we should have. So what message do we get from the above incidents? How many of us are sensitive to our conduct in daily life? Almost every day we are disturbing ourselves and disturbing others also. It is because of this continuous disturbance, mind gets spoiled. Whether one is leading a spiritual life or not, one needs to live consciously and be careful about one's actions and speech. Actions, really you have to be focused on what type of actions you are doing and what way you are giving expression Many times, most of the people, when they open their mouth, they just keep on abusing people, criticizing people, finding fault in others, thinking that he is free from all those things. The more a person abuses another, the more he is committing sin upon himself. Of course, the person who criticizes is also doing a kind of service. How? Because by criticizing a person, you are taking the impurities of that person whom you are criticizing. So to that extent, the person who was criticized got purified. And it's a fact. I tell you one story which has occurred long time back in Ikshvaku race. There was a great king. All the people were happy, no problems as such. He has got all comforts and luxury. But the king was not happy. He felt terribly disgusted, to the point he may even commit suicide. So much disgusted he became, down with tremendous depression. So he could not bear that depression anymore. So he thought of meeting his guru. Of course, those days people would give respect to the guru, not like modern times, changing the guru every alternate day. Today one guru, tomorrow second, day after tomorrow third one, fourth one, meaningless. You may have any number of academic gurus, perfectly all right. But Diksha Guru is only one. Shiksha Gurus may be many. So, whenever the crisis would come, they would run to the teacher. And this king went to Guru Vasishtha Maharshi, great person of realization, Brahmagyani. He just went there, full of depression, low spirit. And as usual, Vasishtha Maharshi inquired about the welfare of the people and the kingdom. Finally, Maharshi said, "Why are you looking so sad? What has happened to you? Just now you are telling everything, everybody is happy, everybody is okay, there is no famine, there is no flood, there is no disease, all are doing well, doing their jobs nicely. Just now you narrated all these things, but if I look at you, I feel you are terribly depressed. Why?" Before the king could disclose, Vasishtha Maharshi got an inkling of his mental suffering. Well, the king said, "Master, by your kripa and by God's grace, I am not wanting anything. I have got everything. But I am really disgusted, as you have pointed out. The reason for my disgust, my no interest in life, is because of this body. Please see my body. Vasishtha saw his body. What did he see? The king was suffering from leprosy. The weeping leprosy, very nasty disease. He said, this I can't bear. This is too terrible for me to live upon. Is there any possibility that we can cure this disease? I will be immensely grateful. Is it ever possible? Maharshi gave assurance. Good, it's possible. So ray of hope. He got a ray of hope in the midst of utter depression. And then Maharshi said, well, what do you see there? Look at that in this direction. What are you seeing? The king looked at that direction and he said, sir, I am seeing two mountains. How do they look? One is jet black, another is golden. Very good. Go and eat that black mountain. Eating black mountain? Is it ever possible to eat? I see. All right. I will show you another direction. What do you see there? The king, in that direction, he saw, sir, I am seeing mountain of trash. Mountain of trash. Good. Go and eat the trash. See, they are not afraid, because he is a king, he may cut off his head by a sword, etc. They are all men of realization. Fearless. Fearlessness is one of the main characteristics of a person of realization. So, sir, how is it possible to eat trash? It is impossible. Please tell me what is possible for me to do. Well, very good. Now, two solutions you could not do. Now, the final solution I am giving you, which is possible for you to do it, and which you should do it, you must do it. You should not say no. You should not give any reason, because it is possible. I know it is possible. When the Maharshi said it is possible, again his hope got brightened. Well, still I have got hope. Yes, sir. If I can do it, surely I will do it. Good. Anyway, he is promising that he is doing. And then the Maharshi said, now, you have got a sister-in-law. Yes. She is a widow. Yes. She has got a separate palace. Yes. Now, you do one thing. Before sunset, go and spread your cot just at the entrance of your sister-in-law's palace. Don't go inside. Just at the entrance, spread your cot and stay on there till midnight. When he heard this, he was shocked. Got a terrible shock. You can say it's a jolt, as it were. His whole system was shaken. But there's no way. He has already said it is not impossible. He can go and he can predict the cut. Should be very easy. Then he said, you must keep silent. And you must do this for 15 days. 15 days, every day before sunset, go and spread the cot and stay on till midnight. After 15 days, you come and see me. That's the prescription, therapy. Therapy for leprosy. Well, he has to agree. And moreover, he is not an ordinary teacher. Teacher of realization. Well, he bowed down and went back to follow the instructions of his guru. Then he spread the cot there just at the end. Very unusual. Very unusual. Because evening time, just at the time of sunset, it's the time for all the people returning to their homes. And all people began to see what has happened to this king. First they were afraid to talk loudly. They were whispering. What has happened to this king? Why is spreading his cot in front of the widow's sister-in-law? Does he not have wife? Why is crazy? Though they were whispering, because so many people are whispering, so he could understand. But he should not open his mouth. The Guru has said, be silent. He just tolerated. First day, second day, third day, people began to talk loudly. And people began to observe in great numbers. Previously 10, 20 people would come, now hundreds. Come, come, come. A big thing is going on. And finally, it came to the stage. They began to spit upon him. Because they thought, in spite of our giving warnings, in spite of talking loudly, still that king is probably dull-headed. So, he is not fit to be the king. It's a shame. So everyone began to spit upon him. The whole body was covered with spittings, what do you call it, of the people. Just tolerated. After 15 days, with a great sigh of relief, he went to see the Guru. And then Guru said, did you follow my instruction correctly? Yes. Now you see the mountains. He saw. Now how do you look at the mountains? He said, well, the black mountain is almost nil. The golden mountain is shining with all golden color. Very good. That's a good sign. Now see your body now. See your body yourself. He saw his body. There was no leprosy. He was surprised. He was stunned. What happened? Is it a miracle? Is it occult power? No occult power. Then Maharshi himself disclosed. Do you know what happened? All those people who criticized you, who abused you, who spit upon you, they have all taken your impurities. Your sins are transferred to them. So you have become purified, and they share all your sins, impurities. Those leprosy is gone. What a great lesson. Once the people open their mouth, it's very ugly. always speaking against others, abusing others, ugly. So, that's the point. You have to learn. Learn. Be silent. Don't disturb others. That's the point. So, how many of us are really sensitive to our conduct in daily life? Whether a person is leading a spiritual life or not, one needs to live consciously and be careful about one's actions and speech. An integrated and well-organized life can reap rich harvests. Unfortunately, in our enthusiasm to attain the highest in spiritual life, or to be successful in the world, we tend to neglect the simple laws of corporate living. Some people overlook them, while for others, they just don't matter. While speaking on the secret of work, Swami Vivekananda says in his complete works, every work that we do, please note this, these are the words of Swami Vivekananda. Every work that we do, every movement of the body, every thought that we think, leaves an impression on the mind stuff. And even when such impressions are not obvious on the surface, they are sufficiently strong to work beneath the surface, subconsciously. It is in volume number 8, Swami Vivekananda has said this. Again, Swamiji says, the problem of life is becoming deeper and broader every day. The watchword and the essence have been preached in the days of yore, when the Vedantic truth was first discovered, the solidarity of all life. One atom in this universe cannot move without dragging the whole world along with it. There cannot be any progress without the whole world following it in the wake. How significant these words are. That's why all great teachers of humanity, who left their indelible footprints on the sands of time, were conscious of their surroundings, thinks of their daily use, their speech and actions. They were mindful of relationships with people, and of course were careful with their thoughts. For them, the basics of life were as important as attaining a goal. The lives of Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother Sri Sharada Devi and Swami Vivekananda teach us how to be mindful, how to be careful, and how to be conscious of the smallest details of our daily life. Now we shall focus our attention on some of the incidents in Holy Mother's life, wherein she taught us this secret of being careful of our surroundings, the people we meet and the things we use. This secret she had learned from Sri Ramakrishna himself, from the time she came to Kamarpukur after their marriage, and when he began teaching her both temporal and spiritual matters. Sri Ramakrishna was well aware that there was none else but him to instruct Mother in either worldly or spiritual matters. So Sri Ramakrishna gladly shouldered the responsibility. But before commencing his lessons, Sri Ramakrishna first conquered the heart of his young wife through love and filled it with overflowing joy which he had acquired through spiritual experience. He trained her step by step in the art of performing daily duties, like how to serve the guests, how to be respectful to the elders, and how to be affectionate towards younger members of the family. He taught her how to adapt herself to different situations, namely time, place and person. How to be careful while getting into or coming out of a carriage, so that nothing might be left behind. Because there's a tendency to forget things, How to trim the wicks of lamps, spicing curries and prepare betel rolls. You can imagine how Holy Mother got full training by Sri Ramakrishna in the act of thinking and doing in every respect, in every manner. Sri Ramakrishna had instructed Holy Mother on the art of adapting herself to time, place and person. Because of her subtle and receptive mind, Mother grasped the import of the teachings very quickly and translated them into her life. In 1885, when Sri Ramakrishna was visiting Panihati for the Vaishnava festival, Holy Mother asked whether she too could join the party. Sri Ramakrishna did not tell her directly. He told a devotee, well, if she wants to, she may. If she wants to. Hearing this, the mother said to the devotee, well, it will be difficult for me in the large crowd to get down from the boat and see the festival, so I won't go. Mother took the hint. Yeah. When the master sat down for his supper that night, he said to one of the women, Sri Ramakrishna said, well, it was so crowded. Moreover, all had their eyes riveted on me, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, because of my divine inebriation. Thousands of eyes are just focused on me. Referring to Holy Mother, Sri Ramakrishna says, she did very well not to come with us. If people had seen her by my side, then they would have said, a pair of swans have come. A pair of swans has come. She is very intelligent. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. Holy Mother knew that if he had wanted her to go, he would have directly asked her to accompany him. So when the choice was left to her, she willed otherwise. When Holy Mother was staying in the Nahabat, probably those who have gone to Dakshineshwar, you might have seen. Very small place. Extremely small. You can't imagine. You can't stretch your leg there. Like a cell. In the Dakshineshwar Kali temple, there's a place called Nahabat. Early morning every time, the people would play some music on the top of the building. Anyway, When she lived there in Nahabat, her education under Sri Ramakrishna continued. Sri Ramakrishna once said to her, Sri Ramakrishna said to Holy Mother, well, one has to work. Women should not sit idle. For if one sits idle, many vain thoughts may crop up. Once he gave some raw jute to Mother and said, twist this and make slings for me. I shall keep sweets, etc. in them for the boys. Slings, in the olden days they would put. Holy Mother made these slings, and she was prudent enough to use the waste fibers to make a pillow for herself. The master was very particular in establishing a sweet relationship between the devotees and Holy Mother, and he spared no pains to bring that about. Once, a Balram Babu, a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, his wife was seriously ill. Sri Ramakrishna called Holy Mother. Please visit her. But Balram Babu's home was situated through a thickly populated area. So naturally, Holy Mother hesitated to go by walk. There was no proper conveyance also. But Sri Ramakrishna told her to go on foot if necessary to see Balram's wife. Holy Mother took up these strings from Sri Ramakrishna's teachings, and by her dexterity, intuition, precision, and inner tranquility, paid the utmost attention to actualize them in the day-to-day activities. There are some incidents which will enlighten us about the way Holy Mother used to attend to trivialities. Though she had a very hectic schedule at Jarambati, she could find time to attend to such minute details as leveling unpaved courtyard where water might have created a depression. When Indumati, daughter-in-law of Shyam Sundari, and sister Nalini, Holy Mother's brother's daughter, when they were young, they did not know cooking. Holy Mother taught them how to be perfect mistresses of their households. She would encourage Indumati if the cooking was good. Along with compliments, she would also warn her, look here, we are all inexperienced. You should do your duties carefully. Master is very vigilant. Master means Sri Ramakrishna. Whether it was Jarambati or Udbodhan, Holy Mother performed all her duties, small or big, not only meticulously, but also with a spiritual insight. Once Swami Abhayananda, who went to Jarambati to have Mother's darshan, he saw her going somewhere, limping, and with a bowl in her hands. Why she was limping? Because at that time she was having a rheumatic pain in her legs. In his reminiscences, the Swami recollects this. He said, there he says, Mother, the Swami asked her, where are you going so early in the morning? She answered, I am going to the milkmaid's house. My sons from Calcutta have the habit of taking tea in the morning. There was no milk, so she went to procure the milk. The Swami stood dumbstruck to see that the mother herself was going for milk. One day at Udbodhan, when the members had spread their wet clothes in the sun and had gone away on their duties, suddenly the rain began to come, pouring. Mother herself came out, dragging her rheumatic legs, and took the clothes into the house. She had to stand for a long time, removing the clothes one by one and spreading them elsewhere to dry. Swami Chidananda speaks of an incident that teaches us the care and concern the mother had for what appeared to be very ordinary duties. It was during Jagadhatri Puja. A person who was supposed to look after the store, he fell ill, and the Swami had to take up the job. Holy Mother said to him, "That's all right. You can do as well. Have a look at everything today and come to the store early next morning after bath." Mother said further, "Do the work a little carefully, maintaining due form, and then it will be all right." What is more significant is that when Swami Chidananda had fever on the second day, Holy Mother herself managed the store in his absence. The another Swami, Swami Gaurishananda, he points out that mother was always attentive to minor details. For instance, once before laying sal leaves on which food was to be served, the Swami sprinkled a little water and shook them. Holy Mother saw this and said, "Oh dear, the boys will eat from them. Do wash them properly, or else the dust will remain on them." Another day, the Swami was laying mats for people to sit and eat their meals. From a veranda, Mother saw and directed him to lay them straight. When he could not detect where the defect was, Mother herself laid the mats properly. He later saw that the mats were laid in parallel lines and the front edges were all in a straight line. Mother taught how to be diligent even in trifling matters. She could not tolerate disorderliness. In her opinion, even an insignificant thing as a broom needed to be respected. The cheap wicker basket meant for carrying custard apples and reusable, and once Mother had the basket brought from dustbin, washed and kept for future use. Holy Mother was very particular about properly utilizing the food left over after eating. Once, when her disciple could not do full justice to the large quantity of food, he wanted to throw away the surplus. But Mother intervened and said, "My boy, don't throw away such good stuff," and directed him to give away the food to a poor girl from the neighborhood. She even said, "Each should have his due. What men can eat should not be wasted on cattle. What cattle and dogs cannot eat can be thrown into ponds for the fish. Nothing should be wasted." She even kept waste vegetables and peelings for cattle. Holy Mother had high regard and respect for nature and expected her disciples to learn to revere the trees and plants. Once when a Swami broke off a whole branch of an Amalaki tree with fruits growing on it and presented it to Mother, Mother felt displeased and she forbade him from baking branches with fruits on them. Let us see why Sri Ramakrishna thought it necessary to teach Holy Mother the importance of the basics. He used to remain in samadhi and could have bypassed the trivial aspects of life, teaching Holy Mother only the subtleties of sadhana and spiritual practice. Why give so much importance to the trivial things of life? Let us not forget that Sri Ramakrishna was preparing her to guide the world from darkness to light. In spite of trials and tribulations, Holy Mother, with utmost care, abundant love, and masterly precision, kindled the light of knowledge in many a heart lost in the darkness of the world. Wasn't she Saraswati herself, who came in human form to bestow Gyan upon mankind? On another occasion, Sri Ramakrishna transferred the entire responsibility on to the shoulders of Holy Mother and said, "Well, it is not my burden alone, it is your responsibility too. People are wallowing in darkness, you must take care of them." He visualized that in later days thousands would come seeking and that the Holy Mother should guide people step by step to higher levels. He knew that the Holy Mother would not only guide the spiritual aspirants but also worldly people in the art of living. She was not to live a cloistered life, but an active life in the world, meant to be an example for all. So the incidents mentioned bear testimony to the fact that Holy Mother took the cue from Sri Ramakrishna and lived in our own world as a normal human being, but with the perfect knowledge of Brahman. Her whole life is a wonderful poetry of perfection and precision, and there is a lesson for us at every step, provided we open our hearts and mind to it. Though involved in worldly matters, Mother was absolutely calm. Referring to this aspect of her nature, Swami Chidananda said, "You have seen us often, how we flare up at seeing our slightest the smallest of things in the household. In spite of her rural simplicity and lack of modern education, she stood tall amidst the crumbling edifices, hiding her divinity like a cat covered with ashes. Every act of hers was a lesson to every one, old or young, monk or householder. She teaches us to show reverence, respect and regard to the things around us. Since her vision was pure and holy, she treated the objects, people and animals with love and care. In fact, Mother's life provides us 4 basic ideas which we can work on our behavior, attitude, improve our insight and continue our spiritual journey. And they are, as I mentioned earlier, first one, to be anchored in God. Second, to remove the difference between the sacred and the secular. Third, to improve interpersonal relationships. And fourth, to take care of the basics so important for growth and development. One has only to snatch a few minutes from the hectic schedule and respond to the inner voice. For this, there is no shortcut, no pretenses, and no deceptions. One has to question oneself deep within and try to see things as they are instead of cherishing our material success day in and day out, which can hinder the evolutionary process and drain out all vital energy. We can learn from Holy Mother's life how to find security and guidance from the inner consciousness itself. This approach will take care of the basics of life. Under the tutorship of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Sharda Devi worked intensely day in and day out, confined to the Nahabat for many years. with a pitcher full of bliss in her heart. The most important lesson that we get in this context is that in this world full of contradictions, depressions and illusions, one will have no fear of getting drifted away if one is anchored in God alone, keeping Him as a beacon light amidst the encircling gloom. For Holy Mother, it was Sri Ramakrishna who was her prana, life, wherever she went and whatever she did. In the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani maya tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsasi shashvatam. In the heart of all beings, O Arjun, resides the Lord, whirling all of them by His Maya, as if they were mounted on a machine. Take refuge in Him alone with all your heart. By His grace, you shall attain supreme peace and eternal abode. No doubt there are wonderful and talented people in all walks of life today. But what is sad is that a vast majority of them do not strive for lasting solutions to their problems. This is because one's priorities are anchored only on people and things that change every moment. If anyone chooses to grow in spiritual life, then undoubtedly the anchoring should be on God only, regardless of external conditions. Holy Mother's life stands testimony to this fact. Along with the lessons on the basics of life, Holy Mother removes the ignorance from our minds that there is a difference between spiritual life and secular life. For her, every duty was sacred and all actions part of one's sadhana. While writing the introduction to Swami Vivekananda's complete works, Sister Nivedita writes, if the many and the one be indeed the same reality, then it is not all modes of worship alone, but equally all modes of work, all modes of struggle, all modes of creation, which are paths of realization. No distinction henceforth between sacred and secular. To labor is to pray, to conquer is to renounce. Life is itself religion. To have and to hold is as stern a trust as to quit and to avoid. These are the words of Nivedita. How nicely she has done. From her childhood at Jarambati, Sri Shardadevi saw things from a spiritual angle. When such was her approach, where is the question of stress or strain in spite of intense work? To a brahmachari who protested against her working a lot, she said, Mother is saying, pray for me so that I may work as long as I live. By hooking ourselves to Mother's infinite perfection and grace, we can undergo a paradigm shift in our thoughts, perceptions, attitudes and habits, and can progress in spiritual life. Thirdly, the third important basic principle in life is enrichment of interpersonal relationships. People in all walks of life, parents, teachers, professionals, students, officials, and workers equally need this enrichment. But are we aware of the tragedy of modern people? Highly advanced in information technology, making experiments in outer space and thinking of building a space station, shrinking the world through the internet, turning over billions of dollars in trade and commerce. With all these, is it not unfortunate that small things and acts that constitute the basics just do not matter to us? The basics of life should fill in the gaps to offer a harmonious personal relation. We do not find time to improve the interpersonal relationships. We can't find time to tend our own feelings and emotions. Both the poor and the wealthy are involved in a rat race from dawn to dusk, only to find themselves trapped in negative emotions, weaknesses and stresses. Why is this happening? It is because they have become penny-wise, pound-foolish. We give importance to those relations where it is not due. Perhaps we allow our time and concentration to be spent on very personal or selfish purposes. Holy Mother's life gives us beautiful lessons to fill the void created by wrong attitudes, disagreements, circumstances, and people's behavior. We have to take the cue from Mother's approach to improve the relationships among our own people to start with and expand our boundaries in stages. She will surely guide us to maintain balance and peace in our daily life. The fourth principle teaches us how one can grow and develop by caring or tending the basics of life. But how should one tend the basics of life and overcome inner weaknesses? It is by following the sequential mode of growth and development. Does a child run all of a sudden? First it learns to turn over, then sit, crawl, and then gain strength to stand up and run. Similarly, every step is important in life, and this is very much true in spiritual life also. Each step has to be sufficiently strong to equip us to take subsequent steps. An intent look at Holy Mother's life will reveal the fact that from our childhood days at Janambati till our last days at Udbodhan, she revealed the need to focus on the basics of life, to follow them meticulously and then grow. We too can progress in spiritual life or succeed in social life if our foundation is on principles and not on mere work or money or family. We have to work at the root of our psyche from which our attitudes and behavior flow. In order to maintain a flow, one should be fully present during the work at hand. This enables us to enjoy the work without getting bogged down. Speaking on karma and its effect on character, Swami Vivekananda says, if you really want to judge the character of a man, look at his great performances. If you really want to judge the character of a man, look not at his great performances. Watch a man do his most common actions. Those are indeed things which will tell you the real character of a great man. Let us keep in mind that there is greatness in little things, and by performing them as Holy Mother taught us, we can refine ourselves personally and progress in spiritual life as well. Finally, there is an additional advantage and benefit in going back to the basics. A modern technological and consumerist world of ours hardly enables us to take care of our personal life and the necessity of conserving food and other products. In this regard, the incident mentioned above concerning Swami Gaurishwananda and Holy Mother is an eye-opener. In Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhruguvalli, it says, Annam na nindyat tadvratam, annam na parichakshita tadvratam, annam bahukurvita tadvratam. This famous Upanishad, it tells, one should not deprecate food, one should not discard food, and one should make food plentiful. All these three principles, say the Upanishad, should be a vow in life. Now, how many of us follow the above principles in our life? How much of food is being wasted knowingly or unknowingly around us? Holy Mother's life gives us a unique lesson in waste recycling management as well, which is the talk of the day all over the world. So let us try to focus on the basics of life and everything will be okay. So we must be always anchored to God. That's the most important thing. Page 876. It was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Sri Ramakrishna was seated on the second floor of the house at Shamapukor. Dr. Sarkar, Narendra, Mahimacharan, M. and other devotees were in the room. Referring to the homeopathic system of medicine, the master said to Dr. Sarkar, this treatment of yours is very good. Doctor said, according to homeopathy, the physician has to check up the symptoms of the disease with the medical book. It is like Western music. The singer follows the score. Where is Girish Ghosh? Never mind. Don't trouble him. He didn't sleep last night. Master said, well, when I am in Samadhi, I feel intoxicated as if I were drunk with Siddhi. What have you to say about that? Doctor said to him, in that state the nerve centers cease to function, hence the limba become numb. The limbs become numb. Again the legs totter because all the energy rushes toward the brain. Life consists of the nervous system. There is a nerve center in the nape of the neck called the medulla oblongata. If that is injured, one may die. Mahima Chakravarti began to describe the Kundalini. He said, the Sushumna nerve runs through the spinal cord in a subtle form. None can see it. That's what Shiva says. Doctor said, Shiva examined man only in his maturity. But the Europeans have examined man in all stages of his life, from the embryo to maturity. It is good to know comparative history. From the history of the Santals, one learns that Kali was a Santal woman. She was a valiant fighter. All laugh. Don't laugh, please. Let me tell you how greatly the study of comparative anatomy has benefited men. The difference between the actions of the pancreatic juice and bile was at first unknown, but later Claude Bernard examined the stomach, liver and other parts of the rabbit and demonstrated that the action of bile is different from the action of the pancreatic juice. Therefore it stands to reason that we should watch the lower animals as well. The study of man alone is not enough. Similarly, the study of comparative religion is highly beneficial. Why do his, meaning the Master's words, why do his words go straight to our hearts? He has experienced the truths of different religions. He himself has practiced the disciplines of Hindu, Christian, Muslims, Shakta and the Vaishnava religions. The bees can make good honey only if they gather nectar from different flowers. Master Maharaj said to Doctor, he, pointing to Mahimacharan, he has studied science a great deal. Doctor said smilingly, what science? Do you mean maximalist science of religion? Mahima said to the Master, you are ill, but what can the doctor do about it? When I heard of your illness, I thought that you are only going to pamper the doctor's pride. Master pointed to Dr. Sarkar. But he is a very good physician. He is very learned too. Mahima said, yes sir, he is a ship and we are only small boats. Dr. Sarkar folded his hands in humility. Mahima said, but here in the Master's presence all are equal. Let us stop here. Any question to ask? No. In what way? Religion should concentrate on creating men of character, and that takes care of itself. When men are established in character, then everything will be okay. Because politics always leads to corruption. That's the point. Even in olden days also, lots of kings were there. There were good kings, there were bad kings. All through the creation, history goes like that. In order to maintain the purity of the religion, it's always good to practice religion without mixing with politics. But religion should concentrate on making people establish some character. That's what is important. But people are going in a very negative direction. They are going to another extreme. They don't want any religion. But what they are doing alternately, they are becoming too much hedonistic. Their life is meant only for enjoying in this world to the last breath of the life. That means enjoyment is the goal of life. See, religions have been misinterpreted, abused, not practiced properly. But Swami Vivekananda has defined the manifestation of divinity already in man. It's called religion. Why should people be talking against religion? Because religion always tells you to respect everyone. Lord Krishna has said many times, Nirvairaha sarvabhuteshu. Don't have enmity towards any beings. In Bhakti Yoga he says, Adveshta sarvabhutana. The whole world is our own. Why do you put boundary? You are the citizen of the world. Don't think you are only citizen of America. I am the citizen of the world. The whole world belongs to me. I can go anywhere in the world. That concept should be nicely understood. That's what our Upanishad says. Shrinvantu vishve amritasya putraha. The Upanishad always addresses general. It doesn't say particular. Shrinvantu vishve amritasya putraha. Immortal beings of the universe. The whole creation. Jagan Mata, Jagat Pita. We read that. When you read that, you must apply it in life. You are telling Jagan Mata, Jagat Pita and hating one another and causing disharmony. You are going against the principles of religion. When you say the whole universe belongs to God and all are children of God, then put it in action. That's why how Swami Vivekananda put that in action is amazing. At the Parliament of Religions, how did he address dear sisters and brothers of America? How could he address that? Because he felt they're all his own. No one is a stranger. Even Holy Mother said, no one is a stranger in this world. Everyone is related to another. We have got links. The links are infinite links. You don't know, actually. You will know it when you realize the truth. So, that concept. See, one should understand and practice properly. According to religion, one has to perform the duty properly. If a person becomes the king of the place, he should know his duties properly and he should perform it properly. That's the way of practicing religion in a proper way. So like that. You see, the knowledge of the that's the fault of the people who think that way. That's why we have to spread the message of the Upanishads. Upanishads stand for the whole universe. See, they take part by part. They take whichever convenient to them, that they take. That's not the way. If you take it wholly, not bit by bit. So, it means people need to understand properly religion. If they are not understanding properly, it is the mistake of the people who don't understand. It is not the mistake of religion as such. But the contradictions come because in different countries, the teachers have propagated religion in a different way, and so they tend to think that way. We are all different like that. But in principle, there is no difference. That's the meaning of Sri Ramakrishna telling all faiths lead to the same goal. Whatever path you take, perfectly all right. But go in your own path. Don't turn your eyes that way, this way. He is wrong. He is wrong. I am right. Don't say like that. 100 paths are there. Which path you want? I want to go this path. Go. Don't waste time. Go and realize the truth. That they won't do. They'll be quarreling. This is the sad part. So let us stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name that bought for very souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are such, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine's no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and a world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though with tears my soul offend. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous reign tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied. One more announcement I want to tell you. You know, we had Vedanta in the third millennium. That program was held in 2003 in Ganges. Friday to Sunday in June. So now we are completing 75 years. Vivekananda Vedanta Society Chicago is completing 75 years. So we are planning to have Diamond Jubilee celebration. So we are working out the details and let you know through our bulletin and newsletters. That also will be held in the last weekend of June 2005. Last weekend of June 2005. So try to attend this. The Millennium program was excellent, very successful. More than 700 people participated. That was held in Ganges. And about 13 Swamis, all from America, and Swamiji from India had come. It was a very good occasion for all the devotees to meet. So we are doing this, earmark this date, June last weekend, that is 24, 25, 26, the last Sunday. So adjust your programs in such a way that you won't miss this program. That's all. We will let you know the details later on. Thank you.